Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Rainbow Six Siege. It's been over a year. I'm going to be redoing some of the operators and showing us some of the new ones. This is Thermite. He's one of the original operators. And let's get into his operator video, shall we?
When you mix fuel, metal oxide, and metal powder in just the right way, it burns at 2,000 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to cut through nearly any barrier known to man. Throw some C4 into the mix, and you've got one hell of a combination.
Thermite is equipped with the Brimstone, an exothermic charge that can cut through metal, granting you access through heavily fortified walls and floors.
Thermite's name is Jordan Trace. He's a member of the FBI SWAT. He's an attacker from Plano, Texas, and he was born March 14th, 1982. Just for a little bit of information on him, he is one of the starting attackers in the game, or rather, a character who came with it on launch. He's one of the most useful attackers, I'd say, as he can break through reinforced walls and floor panels using his Thermite device. How it works is you simply plant it like a breaching charge and then set it off. It can get jammed by Mute's jammers, and you have to be careful with it getting shot. Thermite originally came with frag grenades. Now instead he has a claymore and flash grenades. You can use him to open up holes where otherwise you would be pretty screwed when it came to trying to get an entrance or exit. Here we see me using Thermite again to open up a new hole to give us a sight line for firing on the enemy. I can't open up all of this as I only have 2 charges and it would take at least 3. As well, there are banded electrodes on top of the other parts of the wall that protect it. As Thermite, you have to be very careful. When you're planting your Thermite charge, you're very exposed. Bandit is one of your hard counters. If someone is listening closely enough, they can set down the bandit charge just as you're about to shoot your Thermite down, thus breaking it and destroying your Thermite charge. Now that the electrical devices have been destroyed, I can plant on the wall.
Got alibi.
Thermite is best with an assault rifle, I find. He does have a shotgun as his other option for main weapon, but I'm not really fond of shotguns as the attackers. I prefer it as defenders. His gun is pretty powerful. He's no slouch in combat.
Down to one friendly.
While it is not his focus and he's more of a utility operator, he still can hold his own, and of course if you get a headshot, it'll be a kill.
Biohazard container located. Proceed to its location.
Okay, well that's fun. That's really fun. Kill me.
As Thermite with your Claymore, you'll want to use it often to set up barriers for enemies. They'll either have to shoot it or they'll run and explode as soon as it catches them. Often you'll want to watch sight lines and peek around corners. Thermite can still overwatch for people with his gun since it's, again, pretty powerful. Here we're going to see some Claymore use. You're going to want to set it up the direction you won't be looking so it can cover your back. If an enemy does happen to shoot your Claymore, at least you'll be alerted to where they are, unless they're using a silencer and you don't happen to hear it. Here's an example also. You're able to blow up certain parts of the floor that you otherwise can't pass through with iron bars, or steel bars rather. But you can still see in between them. You can use that to get some sneaky peeking shots on enemies. Siege is a game about sound. You may not have been able to hear it as well, but I could hear that operator coming. I could hear the footsteps. You may notice some difference in how I play now. That's because I'm on PC. Originally I was on PS4. So here's an example of a door panel slash floor trap being blown open with a thermite charge, although that could have been done with a normal breaching charge, or even a shotgun. A few shots from a shotgun will break a floor panel. Thermite's weapon does allow for an ACOG, which is very handy at long range. But if you're planning to be closer range and deal with some enemies right in front of your face, you may want to go with other sights. I prefer the compensator so that I can lay down suppressing fire and blind fire around corners more easily.
You have dropped the diffuser.
Thermite is a 2-armor, 2-speed operator, so he's in the middle. Recently, they got buffed, their speed did, so they're a little bit faster.
Op 4 last stop standing.
Always watch out just for where your head could be. Sometimes you can just see these little cheeky spots. When you have a diffuser planted, you may want to just hide and wait for people to come to it rather than hunting them out. They're going to have to deal with it. You don't have to. Again, always planting claymores to watch your back. It's especially useful out near windows, where enemies will sometimes break open a window, jump out, and shoot you in the back, and then run back in.
Your location has been compromised.
Also, I decided to do Thermite for the first episode of the reboot, because he's a bit simpler to show off. His device is very direct. It has a lot of applications, but you can clearly see what it does. So I apologize if my aim or movements are not up to snuff. I'm still learning how to play on the PC, since this is not exactly new to me, but I've been 8 years out of practice. Be very careful when you're crawling around. It does actually make quite a bit of noise. You can use smoke grenades for cover, but be wary. Enemies can still blind fire through them, and certain operators can see through them, such as Glaz. Glaz can see through smoke.
Hey, she's in the hat. Above.
Now, I was being extra careful here, but the enemy is up the hatch, as was just told me by my teammate. Now, that's a nice spot for defending. As a defender, you can have the trapdoors open above the point, and then you can just sit up there, and when people come in, they're going to expect you at ground level, so they won't expect you from above.
4 last operator standing. Op 4 eliminated.
Thermite is useful in quite a lot of different situations.
Thermite is watching
You'll
you.
almost always want to have a
Okay,
Thermite or a
Bowser.
Hibana. Thermite works very well with Thatcher,
is active,
because Thatcher
protected at
can
all
throw
costs.
his EM pulse grenades and disable devices that would otherwise stop you from using your Thermite charges.
Op 4 last operator standing.
Sometimes in Siege, it may seem a bit
friendly
dull,
operator
but you'll
remaining.
want to wait. Getting too impatient can lead to your own demise. And it can lead to your team losing.
It's Maestro. He's in the room. face.
Op 4 eliminated.
In this instance, Thatcher was a little bit late on helping me out. But that's enough about Thermite. Welcome back to the LP. I'll be continuing this and hopefully showing off every operator in the game. Bye!